Buddy Dave here. I want to talk to you guys about creativity and destruction. Two big things that we have in our life that I think some of us tend to forget, or we don't really understand how to kind of keep things afloat, such as relationships, your business, or anything like that, right? Because we're all creative. If you guys don't really understand what I mean by, let me give you an example. We all liked somebody before in our life, girl, boy, whatever, right? Before we met that person, we got creative. Who do we get creative with? Ourselves. Why? Because we wanted to impress that other person, whether it's the way we cut our hair, the way we walk, the way we dress, right? Things like that. We got creative, and we attached that person, or we grabbed that person's attention with our creativity. Now, the sad part about what's going on in everywhere is we lose the value in ourselves of staying creative in our ventures and in our relationships, especially. Why? Because, how many times have you seen where, you're all nice and good at the beginning, and then afterwards you tend to kind of just go down, you let yourself go. Maybe you're not impressing that certain person as much as you'd like to when you were in the beginning of the relationship, or in the beginning of your business venture, where you're not impressing your team as much, you're not there for your team as much because that creativity went down. Now, the crazy thing, let me give you an example of, if you put cups on top of each other, right? Count how many seconds. If I gave you 4 cups and you put those cups on top of each other, meaning you're creating something, count how many seconds it takes to build that. Let's just say it takes 5 seconds to build that. Now, swipe those cups to the side. Now count how many seconds it takes to destruct that. What you just built in 5 seconds now takes a millisecond to destruct. That same perspective is exactly how we are in our lives, in our business, in our relationships. So guys, what am I saying? You can't destruct, nobody can destruct who you are when you're happy with who you are, right? Your character, your positive mental attitude, nobody can destruct it, because that's who you are. But when you start to put up a front and you try to act like something that you're not, that creativity is only going to last so long. It's only going to last so long before it gets destructed by yourself. Nobody else is going to destruct what you created. You're the one that created it. The reason it's going to get destructed by you is because it's not who you are. You're fake. You're putting up this front. That's how back to the example in the beginning, just like relationships. If I'm trying to act all like something that I'm not in the beginning of a relationship, and then 2, 3 months, a year in the relationship, 2 years in the relationship, I start to get to my real self, who that certain someone doesn't really even like, because they were lied to by the beginning of, or by the person that I was at the beginning, because I was creating this fake image rather than just being who I am and being proud of who I am. So guys, creativity and destruction are two things that you really need to apply in your personal lives, because you control it. You don't have to destruct yourself. You should always be creating better things for yourself, whether it's the way you look, whether it's where you live, whether it's your relationships with your family, your kids, your wives, your husbands, all that stuff. All the time, be creating, be impressive, right? Get impressive with things. Don't just create something. Like if you're building an organization and you're just creating something in the beginning, and then 2 months later you're like, I'll get to it later. That's because you were creating something that you weren't passionate about, which goes right back to who you are. Everything in life, you guys, goes back to who you are, right? It goes back to who you are, what your heart's about, what your mind's focused on all the time. Start creating a better you, and be you, and embrace who you are, because you're awesome. You don't need to impress anybody by creating this front. Stop looking at other people thinking, man, I want to be like him. I want to be like her. I want to look like them. I want to live like them. No, you're awesome already. You're unique. Your uniqueness about yourself is what's going to pull other people towards you, to inspire them to be unique for themselves. Have a good day, guys. I'm going to finish my run.